Most people feel like their money disappears every month before they even understand where it went. You get your paycheck, you pay a few bills, you buy a few things here and there, and suddenly your account feels empty again. It doesn't happen because you're irresponsible or bad with money. It happens because tiny daily habits quietly drain your income without asking for permission. Imagine your income as a bucket of water. Every month you pour fresh water into it, but the bucket isn't solid, it's full of tiny holes. One hole is the snack you grab on the way to work. Another is the delivery order you made because you were tired. Another is the subscription you didn't even remember signing up for. None of these seem dangerous individually, but together they drain your entire bucket. This is why most people struggle to save. Not because they don't earn enough. Not because they don't budget correctly. The real problem is that spending becomes automatic. You're not deciding to overspend, it's happening in the background. And the first step to taking control of your money this year is simply waking up that awareness. Not in a complicated budgeting way. Not in a track every rupee way. Just becoming conscious of how your daily decisions shape your financial reality. Think about the last time you looked at your bank statement and saw tiny charges like $4.994, $9.25, $6.50, $11.60. You don't panic when you see these numbers. They feel harmless. But look deeper and you start realizing these small numbers are the reason you struggle to save. It's not the big purchases, it's the quiet ones you barely notice. And the interesting thing is this: people rarely overspend in every area. They overspend in one single blind spot. That blind spot might be restaurants, food delivery, coffee, groceries, online shopping, subscriptions, weekend plans, impulse purchases. Fixing just this one spot can save you $50 to $200 every month without changing the rest of your lifestyle at all. All about becoming aware of the habits that happen on autopilot, because once you see them clearly, you naturally begin to adjust. You don't have to force yourself. You don't have to punish yourself. You don't have to follow extreme rules. You simply gain control of your decisions, and once that clicks, saving money becomes much easier. You stop leaking cash without realizing it. You stop feeling stressed about where your money goes. You stop ending each month wondering why your account looks empty. Instead, you start becoming intentional. Not perfect, just intentional. Recognizing that your financial life doesn't change from one big dramatic decision. It changes from the small choices you make, everyday choices you can control the moment you become aware of them. Every person has that one category where money slips away faster than they expect. It's different for everyone. Some people can't resist takeout, some overspend on groceries, some buy things online they forget the next day. And because this spending feels small and harmless in the moment, it becomes the biggest leak in your entire budget. The goal here is not to remove the category you enjoy. It's to control it in a way that feels natural, realistic, and sustainable. Not extreme. Not restrictive. Just smart. Imagine your overspending category is eating out. Let's say you spend $200 every month without even thinking about it. It doesn't feel like a lot because each meal is $10 here, $15 there, maybe $20 when you're tired and order delivery. It adds up quietly. Instead of cutting it in half overnight, which almost always fails, you do something far more effective. First, pull out a small portion of that budget in cash. If you normally spend $200, start by taking out $175 in physical money. Just this simple shift changes your behavior because cash creates a natural pause. You can physically see it leaving. You can feel when it's getting low. You become aware without forcing yourself. Then, that remaining $25, you don't leave it in the account. You don't save it if it's left over. You intentionally move it directly into your savings the moment the month starts. That moment is important, that you're not saving what's left, you're saving first. Now here's the magic. When you spend using cash, you naturally think more clearly. Do I really want this meal? Is this worth the cash in my hand? Maybe I can cook today and save this for the weekend. You don't have to be disciplined. Your brain does the work for you. If you make it through the month comfortably, you repeat the process, but this time, you take another $25 off. Your budget becomes $150. Then $125. You continue in small, painless steps until you reach the level that feels right for your lifestyle. This slow reduction works for one simple reason: your brain doesn't feel attacked. There's no shock, no sudden deprivation. Just gentle, controlled improvement. This method also works beautifully outside of eating out. You can use it for entertainment and Uber rides and coffee shops and online shopping in beauty or grooming and snacks and spontaneous purchases. Once you choose your blind spot, you're already halfway to fixing the problem. The real power is that it puts you back in control. Your spending becomes intentional. Your savings grow automatically. And for the first time, you get to enjoy your favorite category without guilt or stress. Most people try to fix their finances by cutting everything at once. This system fixes your finances by cutting one thing slowly, which is why it works. Why the time you reach the optimized number, you'll look back and realize you didn't feel restricted at all. You simply created a new normal. And saving real money becomes effortless. If you truly want to grow your savings this year, this is the habit that does 90% of the work without asking for motivation, discipline, or willpower. Because here's the real reason most people struggle to save. They depend on self-control. And self-control is unreliable. Life happens. Emergencies happen. Mood happens. That's why the people who save the most aren't more disciplined, they just automate the process so they don't have to think. The smart way to do this is to save a percentage of your income automatically, not a fixed amount. A fixed number always feels heavy when expenses rise. But a percentage adapts with your income. It grows naturally as your earnings grow. Start with a small number that doesn't hurt, something like 3% to 7% of whatever comes in. For example, if your monthly income is $1,500, even 5% is only $75. Most people won't notice that amount missing, and that's exactly the point. Now here's where the real magic happens. Make sure this transfer happens automatically at the exact moment you get paid. Not after a day, not at the end of the week, the same minute the money hits your account. When saving becomes the first action your bank performs, it becomes impossible to forget, or skip, or wait until next month. You remove the human brain from the equation. Next, send this automated amount to a separate savings account, ideally one you don't see daily. When your checking and savings are in the same place, temptation wins. A separate account creates a psychological distance that protects your future money from your present impulses. This one tiny separation is the reason many people finally stop dipping into their savings. And here's a small upgrade that quietly multiplies your results. Every 3 months, increase that savings percentage by just 1%. You won't feel the change, but your savings will explode over time. Imagine starting at 5% today. In 3 months it becomes 6%, then 7%, then 8%. Within a year and a little bit, you're saving 10% of your income painlessly. No stress. No budget battles. No lifestyle shock. Meanwhile, most people are still telling themselves they'll start saving next month. This is what makes automation so powerful. It replaces pressure with consistency. It removes the guilt. It removes the decision-making. And it builds wealth quietly, whether you're motivated or not. Your money starts working for you in the background, even on the days you're exhausted, busy, or distracted. There's a point in everyone's financial journey where they realize that most bad money decisions don't come from a lack of income, they come from speed. The faster a purchase happens, the more likely it is to be driven by emotion instead of intention. And the more emotional the purchase, the more likely it is to become a regret later. That's why the people who manage their money well aren't always the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who think before they react. They build a mental buffer between wanting something and buying it. They create a firewall, one simple habit that slows down impulsive spending long enough for logic to step in. The 24-hour financial firewall works because it disrupts the impulse loop. Almost every unplanned purchase follows the same pattern. You see something you want, a spark of urgency kicks in, and a little voice in your mind whispers, "Just get it, it's not a big deal." Feels harmless, quick, easy, painless. But purchases made in that emotional rush don't consider the long-term impact. They don't consider your goals. They don't consider whether that item will still matter a week from now, or even a day from now. Emotions operate on speed. Logic operates on time. The 24-hour rule gives logic the time it needs. Here's how it works psychologically without turning into a rule. Whenever you feel the urge to buy something that wasn't already part of your plan, something you didn't wake up intending to get, you simply give yourself time. You don't reject the purchase. You don't forbid it. You don't shame yourself for wanting it. You just pause. You give your brain the space to separate a desire from a decision. What makes this so effective is that your brain treats the pause as completion. When you say, "I'll decide tomorrow," the emotional intensity of the moment instantly drops. You regain control. You switch from impulse mode to evaluation mode. The purchase becomes a choice instead of a reaction. Almost instantly, your mindset shifts from "I need this" to "Do I actually want this?" The funny thing is, you'll notice that in most cases the desire fades once the emotion fades. Something that felt urgent today suddenly doesn't feel important tomorrow. That's the magic of the firewall. It protects you from yesterday's emotions using today's clarity. And something interesting happens once you build this habit. You start to see your impulses for what they really are. Not necessities. Not opportunities. Just momentary feelings that pass like every other feeling. You stop confusing a short-lived want with a long-term need. You stop giving your money away to temporary emotions. The 24-hour firewall also builds a deeper level of self-trust. You start realizing you're capable of waiting, capable of choosing, capable of delaying gratification in a world designed to encourage instant consumption. Every time you wait, you strengthen a mental muscle that supports your financial goals. You stop being reactive with your money and start being intentional. This habit doesn't make your life feel restricted, it makes it feel controlled. Instead of regretting impulse purchases, you feel proud of yourself for saving the money. Instead of fixing financial mistakes, you prevent them before they even happen. Instead of letting companies profit from your impulses, you make choices based on what truly matters to you. The best part is that the 24-hour firewall works for every type of purchase, small, medium, or large. The small ones add up the most because they sneak by quietly. A quick snack here, a small gadget there, a cheap accessory, a discounted item you didn't really need. They feel insignificant, but repeated enough times they drain hundreds, even thousands from your bank account over a year. When you pause before buying something small, you get used to the feeling of choosing, not reacting. So when a bigger decision comes along, a new phone, a subscription, a pair of shoes, you already have the discipline built in. You don't rush. You don't panic. You don't give in to pressure. You evaluate. You breathe. You think. Another reason the firewall is powerful is that it reveals your real priorities. When you let time pass, you start to notice what keeps returning to your mind and what doesn't. Some desires disappear completely. Others linger. And the ones that stay after 24 hours? Those are the things that actually matter to you. Those purchases feel good days later, not just minutes later. You also stop buying things out of stress, boredom, or comparison, three of the biggest financial traps. When someone else has something you want, or when you're having a hard day and want a quick dopamine hit, waiting helps break that emotional cycle. You see the situation more clearly. You remember your own goals instead of chasing a temporary mood. Over time, this firewall becomes less of a rule and more of a natural way of thinking. You create an inner voice that says, "Let's give this a little time," and that voice protects you. It guards your wallet without making you feel controlled by money. It helps you stay grounded in a world that constantly pushes you toward convenience, speed, and instant satisfaction. Eventually, you begin applying the same pause to other areas of your financial life. You think before upgrading plans you won't fully use. You think before accepting add-ons that companies try to slip into your purchase. You think before choosing convenience options that cost more but don't actually save enough time to be worth it. You think before copying someone else's lifestyle instead of focusing on your own. That's when the firewall becomes more than a habit, it becomes a mindset. A mindset that says your money deserves protection. Your goals deserve respect. Your future deserves intention. When you practice the 24-hour pause long enough, something incredible happens. The quality of your purchases improves. You buy fewer things, but the things you do buy feel meaningful. You enjoy them more. You use them longer. You take better care of them. Instead of filling your life with random items, you curate your environment with things that feel deliberate. Your spending becomes a reflection of your values, not your impulses. And that's where the real power of this habit comes in. Because when you combine intentional spending with consistent saving, money stops being a source of stress and becomes a source of stability. You gain the freedom to say yes to opportunities, to emergencies, to your future plans because you didn't waste your money on moments that didn't matter. The 24-hour financial firewall isn't about denying yourself. It's about giving yourself space. It's about raising your standards. It's about choosing a life that feels calm, controlled, and aligned with your goals instead of being driven by impulses that pass in minutes. When you build this habit, you start protecting your money the same way you protect your time, your energy, and your peace. And that's when saving becomes effortless because you're no longer trying to save while losing money to impulses. You're saving because you stopped letting emotional moments dictate your financial decisions. And that one shift changes everything. Most people are paying for services they no longer use, apps they never open, memberships they forgot existed, and upgrades that quietly drain their accounts. It's not that they're careless or irresponsible, it's that modern systems are designed to make it easy to forget. Companies have realized long ago that the most profitable customers aren't the ones who buy the most, but the ones who pay consistently without noticing. That's why subscriptions have become one of the most significant silent drains on your finances. The danger of subscriptions lies in how invisible they become over time. You sign up once, maybe during a free trial or for a one-time need, and then the charge appears automatically every month. Most people don't question it. They don't evaluate it. It repeats quietly in the background, and because the amount is small, it doesn't feel urgent. That's the trap. A small, consistent outflow of money that adds up to hundreds or even thousands each year without you consciously thinking about it. When you sit down to review every recurring charge, you begin to see your financial life clearly. You notice services you haven't used in months, platforms you never log into, memberships that promised value but ended up as clutter. It's like opening a drawer full of forgotten items and realizing how much space they take up without contributing anything meaningful. What surprises most people is not how many subscriptions they have, but how many of them no longer match the person they are today. Life changes, priorities change, but these automatic payments remain unless you actively intervene. The process isn't about cutting everything. It's about aligning your spending with the life you live now, not the person you were when you first signed up. When you evaluate subscriptions without judgment, you start noticing patterns. Some are outdated. Some are redundant. Some exist purely out of habit or emotional comfort. When you recognize this, you gain clarity and control over a part of your finances that previously operated on autopilot. A key mental shift occurs when you stop thinking of these charges as harmless small amounts and start seeing their real cost over a year. A $12 subscription is $144 annually. A $30 membership is $360 a year. Multiply this by several forgotten or unnecessary services, and suddenly hundreds, even thousands, are leaving your account for items that don't improve your life. Most people would never willingly spend that much on things they don't value, yet they do it unknowingly every month. Canceling and used subscriptions creates an immediate sense of relief. It's not just the money, it's the clarity, the feeling of lightness, of having control over something that was quietly running your life. It's freeing. It allows you to focus on spending that aligns with your priorities, on services and tools that genuinely support your goals. When you intentionally decide which subscriptions stay, the ones you keep feel purposeful, and spending on them no longer carries guilt or anxiety. The audit also strengthens your financial identity. It teaches you that it's okay to let go of things that no longer serve you. It reinforces the idea that your financial decisions should reflect your present reality, not past impulses or habits. You stop holding on to payments out of fear or inertia. You start to see each recurring charge as a choice, rather than an automatic obligation. This mindset extends beyond subscriptions. It creates a habit of questioning purchases, evaluating necessity, and prioritizing long-term goals over temporary satisfaction. Clearing unnecessary subscriptions opens up opportunities. The money you reclaim can go towards savings, investments, paying down debt, or funding projects and experiences that truly matter. Even if the amounts aren't huge initially, the cumulative effect over months and years is significant. And the mental impact is equally valuable. Instead of wondering where your money went, you now have clarity and intention, which reduces financial stress and builds confidence. Once you've reset your subscriptions, you naturally become more selective with new ones. You ask yourself if a service genuinely adds value before signing up. You stop being influenced by free trials that turn into automatic charges or by promotional offers that seem convenient but don't benefit you in the long run. You start noticing overlap between services and can make choices that simplify your financial life, rather than complicate it. The subscription audit is not about austerity. It's about removing financial noise that distracts you from what truly matters. It's about creating a system where your spending supports your life and goals, rather than feeding outdated habits or external pressures. It allows you to experience the joy of financial clarity, the relief of knowing your money is going exactly where you want it to go, toward things that matter most, rather than slipping away unnoticed. Over time, this creates a shift in behavior. You develop discipline not through deprivation but through awareness. You learn to pause, evaluate, and decide consciously. You stop signing up for every offer or trial that appears. You stop keeping services just in case. And because of that, you free both your finances and your mind from clutter and wasted energy. Your spending begins to reflect intention, values, and priorities rather than habit or convenience. This reset also helps you build better habits for the future. You become more deliberate with new subscriptions and services. You think critically before allowing any recurring charges to enter your life. You create a sustainable financial environment where your recurring expenses enhance your life, rather than silently eroding your resources. The money you save isn't just extra cash, it becomes fuel for goals, opportunities, and experiences that genuinely matter to you. It's money working for you, not against you. Ultimately, the subscription audit reset is a foundational move in taking control of your financial life. It doesn't require extreme discipline, big sacrifices, or complicated budgeting. It simply requires awareness, honesty, and intentional action. By understanding what you truly need versus what you're paying for out of habit, you reclaim control, reduce stress, and set up a system that automatically favors your long-term goals. And once you experience the clarity and freedom this brings, it becomes easier to maintain control over all other areas of your financial life. Most people try to save money by cutting random things here and there, hoping the small reductions will add up. It rarely works. The problem is that random cuts don't address the biggest leaks in your life, the areas where most of your money actually goes. Over time, these leaks silently drain hundreds or even thousands from your account without ever feeling painful. That's why focusing on the big three categories of spending can transform your finances almost overnight. These three areas, housing, transportation, and food, consume the majority of a typical household budget. Adjusting even slightly in these areas has far more impact than cutting coffee or skipping a movie. Housing costs are usually the largest single monthly expense. Rent, mortgage, utilities, and insurance take a huge portion of your income, yet many people don't even consider whether these costs are optimal. A small reduction in rent, a smarter mortgage rate, or even energy-efficient changes can free up significant funds. For example, negotiating rent, refinancing your mortgage, or considering a slightly smaller or more efficient living space can instantly improve cash flow without requiring lifestyle sacrifice. People often overlook the fact that a slight adjustment in their living situation can release hundreds of dollars per month directly into savings. Transportation comes next. Cars are expensive. Between payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and depreciation, most households underestimate their true cost. By reassessing the way you get around, you can cut unnecessary expenses and redirect them to savings. Taking public transportation for some trips, carpooling, maintaining your vehicle to prevent costly repairs, or even driving a slightly older car that's fully functional can reduce costs significantly. People focus on small, visible purchases but ignore that transportation is often a bigger drain than all their discretionary spending combined. Addressing this category gives you immediate leverage. Food is the third major area. Eating out, grocery shopping inefficiencies, and impulse buys at the store quietly drain budgets. Meal planning, buying in bulk, cooking at home, and reducing frequency of dining out are simple ways to save hundreds every month. Most people underestimate the cumulative impact of small daily decisions about meals. A single $10 lunch seems harmless, but 5 lunches per week adds up to $200 per month, or $2,400 a year. Multiply that by multiple small choices throughout the month, and the total becomes significant. Adjusting your habits in this category can have a dramatic effect without forcing you to completely change your lifestyle. The beauty of the Big Three savings attack is its focus. Instead of trying to cut everything or micromanage minor spending, you concentrate on the areas that actually matter. By systematically reducing costs in housing, transportation, and food even by modest amounts, you can free up significant money for savings or investment. Most people fail because they focus on small discretionary spending first, which yields minimal impact. The Big Three approach flips that logic, addressing the most powerful leaks before trimming the edges. This approach also builds momentum. When you see the money you save in the first month from addressing these three categories, it creates a sense of accomplishment. That sense of progress motivates you to continue refining your budget and finding new ways to save. Momentum compounds over time, both financially and psychologically. You no longer feel like saving is a constant struggle, it becomes a process you can control and optimize. Applying the Big Three strategy doesn't require extreme sacrifice. For housing, you may simply identify a better mortgage rate or renegotiate a lease. For transportation, it may mean switching to a more efficient insurance plan or reducing unnecessary trips. For food, it may be planning meals more carefully or replacing frequent dining out with a few higher-quality home-cooked meals. Each adjustment is small on its own but becomes significant when combined. You gain control over the biggest parts of your budget, which in turn makes minor cuts and savings in other areas much easier to implement. Another advantage of this strategy is that it aligns with long-term financial growth. Savings from these big categories can be redirected into investments, high-interest savings accounts, or emergency funds. Rather than cutting out luxuries you enjoy or restricting fun, you're redirecting funds from large, often unnoticed areas toward building wealth. The money is still being spent or invested intentionally, but it now works for your future rather than disappearing without impact. Most people underestimate the psychological effect of focusing on the Big Three. Knowing you've addressed the largest financial drains gives confidence. You stop feeling helpless in the face of your expenses. Instead of wondering where all your money goes, you can see exactly how the largest portions of your income are being managed. That clarity reduces stress, increases financial awareness, and encourages smarter decisions in smaller areas, such as entertainment, hobbies, or discretionary spending. When you combine awareness with action, results compound quickly. Addressing housing, transportation, and food in a strategic way not only increases monthly savings but also instills a mindset of intentional spending. You start to evaluate all purchases based on their true value, necessity, and alignment with your goals. This mindset prevents you from slipping back into old habits where money leaks unnoticed, ensuring long-term financial control. The Big Three savings attack is not about perfection. It's about optimization. You don't need to eliminate all spending in these areas, you only need to manage them more consciously. Even a 5 to 10% reduction in each category creates meaningful savings. Over a year, the numbers add up, and those dollars can be invested to generate compounding returns, accelerating your journey toward financial freedom. Ultimately, this approach shows you that the largest and most impactful changes come from focusing on the areas that matter most. Cutting random expenses or relying on willpower alone is slow, frustrating, and often ineffective. The Big Three method targets the biggest drains, allows small lifestyle adjustments, and creates meaningful progress with less effort. Over time, the combination of awareness, strategic action, and redirection of funds can transform your financial life more than any minor, incremental cuts ever could. When you consistently apply the Big Three savings approach, you no longer feel like saving is a chore. You feel empowered. You see clear results. You know exactly where your money is going and how it's working for you. And that confidence naturally extends to other areas of life. You start making smarter decisions, thinking longer term, and building wealth without sacrificing your quality of life. Most people try to save money by juggling multiple accounts, apps, and platforms, thinking that complexity equals control. They create separate savings accounts for vacations, emergencies, groceries, investments, and every small goal in between. At first glance, it feels organized, almost professional, but in reality, it creates confusion, friction, and even avoidance. When money is scattered across too many places, it becomes harder to see the real picture. Small balances feel meaningless. Transfers feel like chores. And human nature always finds a way to bypass unnecessary effort. That's why a single account savings funnel can be a game changer, turning saving from a task into an almost effortless habit. The idea is deceptively simple. Instead of multiple accounts, you consolidate your savings into a single high-yield account where all your surplus money flows first. Every month, every paycheck, and any extra cash is funneled into this one account before it's touched for anything else. This creates a central hub for your finances, allowing you to see your progress clearly and measure growth without distractions. Seeing a single balance grow steadily over time is a powerful psychological motivator. It's far more effective than watching tiny, scattered balances inch upward in separate accounts, which often feel inconsequential and disconnected. Consolidating into one account also simplifies decisions. You no longer have to wonder which account to deposit into, how much to transfer, or whether you've forgotten a goal. Everything goes into the main funnel. From there, you can set automated transfers for investments, debt repayment, or other financial objectives. The funnel becomes your command center, a single point of control that reduces friction and increases clarity. This system works because it leverages a key principle. Money flows where attention goes. By funneling all funds into one account, you are forced to pay attention to that balance. You watch it grow, celebrate milestones, and feel accountable for it. Unlike multiple scattered accounts, where balances feel abstract and disconnected, the single account system creates a visible, tangible measure of progress. It transforms saving from a passive activity into an active, rewarding habit. Another advantage is the elimination of wasted mental energy. Every decision, no matter how small, carries cognitive cost. When you spread your savings across multiple accounts, each decision about where to allocate money, how much to transfer, and when to move it creates mental load. Over time, this leads to decision fatigue, mistakes, and procrastination. By centralizing, you remove nearly all of that friction. You automate, you focus, and you free your mind to think about other important decisions in your life. The single account funnel also encourages disciplined growth. Because all surplus money enters the account first, you can decide intentionally where it goes next. For example, a portion can be automatically invested in stocks, another portion into a high-yield savings account, and another portion into paying down debt. The funnel ensures that money doesn't linger in a spending account where it can be easily consumed. By making the inflow automatic and consistent, you remove the human element of hesitation, forgetfulness, and impulsivity. The beauty of this system is that it works regardless of income level. Whether you're making $1,500 a month or $15,000 a month, the principles remain the same. Consistency matters more than the amount. By seeing a balance steadily rise, you train yourself to value incremental growth and recognize the power of compounding. Over months and years, even modest contributions grow into significant wealth simply because of time and consistency. Psychologically, the single account funnel creates a sense of safety. When you consolidate, you always know where your real money is. You no longer have to hunt through multiple accounts to find your savings. Emergencies, opportunities, or sudden needs are easier to handle because you can access a clear, substantial sum at any time. The mental peace that comes from knowing exactly where your money is and how it's growing is invaluable. It reduces financial stress, encourages smart decision-making, and strengthens your confidence in managing your money. This system also prevents accidental spending. When funds are scattered, it's easy to dip into one account thinking it's just a small balance. With everything in a single, separate account, it's clear that these funds are for saving and growth, not day-to-day consumption. The separation from your checking account creates a psychological barrier, making it harder to spend money that isn't meant to be spent. This encourages discipline without relying on willpower. Over time, the single account funnel cultivates a habit of conscious allocation. You learn to evaluate where each portion of your surplus should go, whether to investments, debt repayment, or other financial goals, based on priority rather than impulse. You develop a clearer sense of financial strategy and control. Every dollar becomes intentional, every decision more powerful. Your finances start working for you instead of you constantly reacting to them. Another subtle but critical benefit is simplicity. Humans crave simplicity in complex systems, and finances are no exception. The single account funnel reduces clutter, confusion, and administrative overhead. It makes tracking, planning, and reporting much easier. You can quickly see your total progress, make adjustments, and set new goals without getting bogged down by unnecessary details. This clarity encourages action and reinforces positive habits. Ultimately, the single account savings funnel transforms your financial life by combining focus, simplicity, and automation. It removes mental friction, increases visibility, strengthens discipline, and ensures that your money grows in alignment with your goals. You stop juggling multiple accounts, losing track of balances, and making impulsive decisions. Instead, you build a system where money flows efficiently, grows consistently, and supports your long-term financial freedom. When people adopt this system, the results are both tangible and psychological. The tangible results are obvious. Savings increase, investments grow, debt is paid down faster, and emergencies are easier to handle. The psychological results are equally powerful. Clarity, control, reduced stress, confidence, and motivation. Seeing your progress in a single, growing account reinforces positive behavior and makes saving effortless. You no longer have to rely on discipline alone. The system does the heavy lifting while your focus remains on strategy and growth. The single account savings funnel is more than just an account, it's a mindset shift. It teaches you that simplicity leads to power, focus leads to growth, and consistency beats sporadic effort. Once established, it becomes the foundation for all other financial strategies, providing a stable base for investments, wealth building, and long-term security. It transforms saving from a fragmented, stressful task into an efficient, automated, and satisfying process that makes wealth accumulation almost inevitable over time. Most people treat their money passively. They earn, spend, and occasionally glance at their bank account hoping everything balances out. The problem is that finances are like a garden, they require regular attention, pruning, and care. Without consistent check-ins, small issues grow into larger problems. Unnoticed subscriptions, untracked spending, or forgotten bills slowly drain resources, creating stress and uncertainty. That's why adopting a weekend money reset, a cleanup ritual, is one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate. It transforms financial chaos into clarity, making money management feel effortless rather than overwhelming. The weekend reset begins with reflection. Take a few minutes to look back at the week's spending. Examine every transaction, from the biggest purchases to the smallest digital charges. Many people are surprised at how quickly minor, impulsive expenses add up. A coffee here, a meal there, small online purchases. Individually they seem insignificant, but collectively they can derail even the best budgeting intentions. By reviewing your weekly activity, you identify patterns, spot unnecessary spending, and recognize opportunities to redirect funds toward meaningful goals. Reflection alone is transformative. It makes you aware of where your money goes instead of letting it flow silently out of your account. After reflection comes organization. Categorize each expense: essentials, discretionary, savings, debt repayment, and fun. This process is not about guilt or judgment, it's about awareness. By sorting your money, you gain a clear picture of priorities versus indulgences. Often, seeing all expenses in one place creates a sense of control that passive tracking never delivers. You may notice recurring charges that slipped under the radar, small leaks that, once corrected, free up hundreds of dollars over a year. Organization reduces mental clutter and establishes a foundation for intentional financial decision-making. The next step in the ritual is planning. Look ahead to the week or month to anticipate expenses, adjust budgets, and prepare for any irregular payments. Planning transforms reactive spending into proactive strategy. Instead of scrambling to cover unexpected charges or making impulsive decisions, you approach your finances with foresight. This simple habit reduces stress, increases predictability, and allows you to allocate money toward what truly matters. You start to see your finances as a tool that serves you, rather than a source of uncertainty. Automation is another critical element. While weekly reflection and planning are essential, repetitive tasks can be delegated to automated systems. Set up automatic transfers to savings, investments, and debt repayment. Automate bill payments to avoid late fees or interest charges. The combination of hands-on review and automation ensures nothing slips through the cracks while keeping mental load low. By doing so, you protect your financial future while maintaining clarity in the present. The weekend reset also encourages adjustment. Life is dynamic and budgets need flexibility. If you overspent in one category during the week, find ways to compensate without creating stress. If unexpected income arrives, decide intentionally how to allocate it, towards savings, investments, or a planned treat. Small adjustments compound over time, creating momentum for financial growth. The key is consistency. Regular weekend check-ins prevent small errors from accumulating into larger problems that feel insurmountable. Another benefit of the weekend money ritual is psychological. Actively engaging with your finances each week fosters a sense of mastery. You gain confidence in your ability to manage resources, make strategic decisions, and respond to challenges. Financial control, even in small doses, reduces anxiety and strengthens self-discipline. Over time, this routine transforms your relationship with money from one of stress and avoidance to one of empowerment and clarity. The ritual also fosters intentionality in spending. When you consciously review the past week and plan for the next, impulsive purchases lose their power. You become aware of triggers, emotional, social, or habitual, that lead to unnecessary spending. With awareness, you can decide deliberately whether a purchase aligns with your goals or is a fleeting impulse. This mindfulness reduces wasted money, increases satisfaction with every dollar spent, and ensures that your resources serve your life purpose rather than eroding it silently. Consistency in the weekend reset creates compounding benefits. Weekly attention builds habits that last a lifetime. Small insights from each review, like noticing a recurring subscription, adjusting grocery spending, or reallocating funds toward high-priority goals, accumulate into major financial improvements over months and years. The ritual turns financial maintenance from a reactive, stressful chore into a structured, predictable habit. You start to anticipate issues before they arise, correct inefficiencies immediately, and maintain a sense of flow in your financial life. Another subtle but powerful effect is clarity in decision-making. When your finances are organized and reviewed consistently, every new financial choice, whether spending, investing, or saving, becomes easier. You no longer guess about available funds or struggle to decide how to allocate money. You make decisions from a place of knowledge, control, and confidence. That clarity not only improves finances but also reduces cognitive load, allowing energy to be spent on creativity, work, relationships, and personal growth. The weekend money cleanup ritual also integrates seamlessly with other strategies like the Big Three savings attack, the single account funnel, and frugal fun allocation. By combining these approaches, your financial system becomes cohesive and self-reinforcing. Savings grow automatically, unnecessary expenses are identified and eliminated, discretionary spending is intentional, and your entire financial ecosystem becomes streamlined and efficient. This synergy ensures that discipline does not feel restrictive but rather liberating. Ultimately, the weekend reset transforms money management from chaos into control. It is not a one-time activity but a weekly commitment that compounds benefits over time. By reflecting, organizing, planning, automating, and adjusting consistently, you cultivate awareness, intentionality, and mastery over your finances. The ritual creates a feedback loop. Clarity motivates discipline, discipline reinforces growth, and growth increases confidence, which in turn strengthens the habit. After a few months of consistent weekend resets, you start noticing tangible results. Your savings increase steadily, unnecessary spending declines, debt decreases faster, and financial surprises no longer create panic. More importantly, your mindset shifts. Money stops feeling like a source of stress or uncertainty and becomes a tool for freedom, choice, and long-term security. You feel in control of your present and confident about your future. The weekend reset is simple, yet its effects are profound. By dedicating a small portion of time each week to your finances, you prevent minor issues from escalating, cultivate intentional spending habits, and build a foundation for long-term wealth. Over time, this ritual doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your relationship with money itself, creating habits that support financial freedom, emotional well-being, and life satisfaction. True wealth isn't built from a single decision, a lucky investment, or a sudden windfall. It is built through consistent behaviors, disciplined habits, and intentional choices repeated over time. The difference between someone who struggles financially and someone who builds lasting wealth is rarely income, it is mindset. How you think about money, value, risk, and opportunity determines the direction of your life. The rich mindset switch is about rewiring your perspective, transforming the way you relate to money, and creating sustainable habits that compound over years and decades. At the core of this mindset is a simple but powerful truth. Money is a tool, not the goal. Many people chase money as if it defines their worth. They measure success through the size of their paycheck or their bank balance. This mindset leads to stress, comparison, and short-term decision-making. The rich mindset reframes money as a means to achieve freedom, security, growth, and fulfillment. When you see money as a tool, every financial decision becomes intentional. You stop reacting emotionally to expenses or opportunities, you think strategically, aligning every choice with long-term objectives. The transformation begins with awareness. Most behaviors that limit financial growth happen automatically: impulse spending, procrastination, emotional buying, or avoiding planning. These habits quietly drain progress without being noticed. The first step in switching your mindset is observing your behaviors without judgment. Notice your tendencies. Recognize your triggers. Understand where your decisions come from. Awareness gives you power. It creates the space to choose differently. Once you clearly see how your behaviors shape your financial outcomes, you can begin redirecting actions toward growth instead of depletion. Behavior change is rarely dramatic. It is gradual. The rich mindset switch emphasizes small, consistent improvements over time. Saving a fraction of your income, tracking expenses weekly, investing regularly, and reducing unnecessary spending may seem small on their own, but their cumulative effect is powerful. Wealth is the result of repeated decisions, not occasional brilliance. When you focus on your habits instead of short-term results, you build a strong foundation for long-term success. A central pillar of the rich mindset is delayed gratification. We live in a world of instant rewards, quick entertainment, fast purchases, and immediate pleasure. But long-term wealth requires the ability to prioritize future benefits over momentary desires. Delayed gratification doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means choosing wisely, investing today, saving consistently, and building skills that pay off later. These choices generate returns that compound over time, creating opportunities unavailable to those who chase only short-term comfort. Another major element is intentionality. Every financial action, earning, spending, saving, investing, carries weight when it's done consciously. The rich mindset aligns money with values. Instead of buying impulsively, you evaluate decisions based on long-term impact, purpose, and alignment with your goals. This reduces waste, prevents emotional spending, and ensures that every dollar moves you closer to your vision. Risk is also part of the process. Some people avoid risk completely, others take reckless chances. The rich mindset encourages calculated risk-taking. Investing in education, starting a side income, exploring new opportunities all carry risk, but smart evaluation turns risk into growth. Wealth does not come from avoiding risk, it comes from understanding and managing it. Over time, consistent, calculated risks differentiate those who grow from those who stay stuck. A rich mindset also requires resilience. Financial setbacks, emergencies, and market fluctuations are unavoidable. The difference lies in how you respond. Instead of panic or avoidance, the rich mindset approaches challenges with clarity and strategy. Emergency funds, diversified income, ongoing learning, and long-term planning create stability even during uncertainty. Resilience ensures that temporary setbacks do not change long-term direction. Surprisingly, gratitude and perspective play a major role. Wealth isn't just about accumulation, it's about the quality of life it enables. Gratitude keeps you grounded and reduces the urge to compare yourself with others. It helps you appreciate progress rather than becoming frustrated by how far you still have to go. Gratitude strengthens discipline, because you learn to value the journey, not just the destination. Continuous learning is another key component. Financial literacy, skill development, and knowledge expansion are lifelong pursuits. The rich mindset never stops learning, whether about investing, money management, or personal growth. Knowledge compounds just like money. Skills gained today increase earning potential and improve decision-making for years to come. This commitment to growth drives wealth far more effectively than relying on luck or one-time opportunities. But the true secret weapon of the rich mindset is consistency. Wealth isn't built overnight, it's built by repeating small, smart choices daily, weekly, and monthly. Setting a budget, reviewing finances, increasing savings, investing early, and controlling spending may seem simple, but their impact grows exponentially over time. Consistency transforms ordinary habits into extraordinary results. Finally, the rich mindset embraces ownership. You realize that your financial life is your responsibility. No one else will secure your future. Ownership means engaging with your money, learning from mistakes, setting goals, and celebrating progress. When you take ownership, you shift from being a passenger to becoming the driver of your financial journey. Ownership brings clarity, confidence, and empowerment. Over time, this mindset doesn't just change your finances, it changes your entire life. Financial freedom becomes realistic because your behaviors support your goals. Stress decreases because clarity replaces confusion. Opportunities expand because your habits, knowledge, and mindset point in the direction of growth. Most importantly, your money begins working for you instead of you working endlessly for money. The rich mindset switch is not a phase, it's a lifestyle. It's a system of behaviors that compound and elevate your entire life. By focusing on awareness, intentionality, delayed gratification, calculated risk, resilience, gratitude, education, consistency, and ownership, you build a framework that guarantees long-term financial success. Every habit contributes to a trajectory that grows stronger year after year. Wealth is not simply a number in a bank account. It is the result of repeated choices, disciplined habits, and a mindset built around clarity, growth, and long-term thinking. When you fully embrace this mindset, financial decisions feel purposeful rather than stressful. You seize opportunities, avoid unnecessary mistakes, and align short-term actions with long-term vision. The systems you build, the habits you practice, and the mindset you cultivate work together to create lasting freedom and stability. That is the true reward of switching your mindset, not just wealth in dollars, but wealth in time, freedom, and peace of mind.